Continuing. Okay, so all this cataclysm happened because we're altering Earth's stability, messing with nature, yada, yada, yada. All right, so people dig everything up. Okay, we do the same thing now. We look up the ancient past and go trying to find it. And Homer's Odyssey, you know, discovering Troy, right where they said it was at. I mean, simple stuff like that. We're not, see how they probably took it as crazy back then, just like we do now. Until somebody finds something, they're like, oh, well, we found out that they were really telling us something. You know, I mean, come on, duh. The shit wouldn't go down in history the way it does. History's written by the winners. It wouldn't go down in history the way it does if there wasn't some kind of significance or truth behind it. Because just lies fade out. A lie fades out. But if it has some truth stuck to it, it'll evolve into some kind of myth or a legend or a fairy tale, you know? So you got to consider that. You got to dig for the truth because over time, word of mouth changes everything, all right? And this is where word of mouth becomes really important, okay? All right, so they go and dig this stuff up and try to translate it. They get philosophy, which is the religions, and good out of it. And then there's the science aspect, which is the evil, the 666, okay? Because this is the nature of carbon. It's carbon plasma, and you're getting... It's literally manipulating energy because all of the mathematics and all the physics and everything always lead back to 666. I'm just throwing that out there. Like the Earth's rotation, distances, knots. I got a whole list of scientific aspects. I mean, alpha particles, you know, the Planck constant. I mean, all this stuff, it's sixes. There's sixes everywhere. I'm throwing that out there, okay? So this becomes all the esoteric and all these cults and all this stuff, okay? The evil aspect. Of course, they're taking it ridiculous as the philosophical people, the religions, the good, which suppresses this, you know what I'm saying? And of course, the Crusades and all that was fought to suppress this and killing a lot of people and trying to erase the past. Any of this from happening again. And that's why science was suppressed so long and until finally we started adapting it again, you know, into society. Thank God. You know, I mean, just throwing that out there. I'm just saying, thank God, man, you know. I mean, it's just a saying. It's just a term. Thank the universe, man. Thank existence. Thank nature. Phew. Thank the way things are. Thank the way things went, you know. I mean, come on. Why complicate something so simple? Just for your own personal hatred against something or some idea that you don't even know about yourself. Until you actually... look at all of the history and all of the evidence that we have. I mean, come on, look. These things were buried for so long. Look, these have erosion. This is a dead giveaway. This is one of the smoking guns. This was a desert, which has been in what, a desert for 4,000 or 5,000 years, okay? You do not get water, rain, erosion in the desert. So it had to be when it was a forest, okay? This is a geological timestamp, okay? This is a smoking gun. Okay, this is not just a theory. When you see stuff like this, you mark that down as a solid piece of evidence. You don't just say, "Oh yeah, wow, what a theory." This is a fact, and it's a timestamp. It's a geological timestamp. Okay, you can't act like a geological timestamp doesn't matter when we use geological timestamps in every aspect of our geology and even understanding evolution of fossils. So this predates the desert. Okay, they existed 13,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago. These pyramids existed, you know, with Sacsayhuaman and all these other sites that are so wild looking. They're reactors. They're plants. They are power plants. Okay, they really are. We have to get over this egocentric way, an anthropocentric attitude that we have about ourselves that are, I mean... we're going to have to let loose and understand that humans have been intelligent for thousands and thousands of years. And we've had societies and technology for thousands and thousands of years. Arc lights. I mean, we use arc lights now, okay? The Ictghyosaur artifact, they say is it's just a spark plug out of a car, a champion spark plug. No, it looks like a spark plug because we use arc lights in engines. That's what an arc light is, a spark plug. It makes a spark. That's what the Ark of the Covenant was. It was an arc light. Okay, it flickered. It was an arc light. It was used as a lighter, plasma. This was it was a radioisotope thermoelectric generator, and it arced plasma. It was a plasma arc, but you have to have fuel, and they got that from the subterranean chamber. I'm just throwing this out there, okay? That was where the water came in, and they separated water just like we use water electrolysis, okay? Doesn't take much, but if you're doing it on such a large scale that they were doing it, this would work out perfect, okay? Plus, you're using the thermodynamics of the building itself, because it's a giant thermoelectric generator. So you have your hot and your cold chamber with a spark plug or arc light inside it, okay? This is pretty much directing it into the casing, which uses the cold here, the queen's chamber, to pull the energy toward the queen's chamber and distribute it. Okay? This is like a bubbler. This is where the water is going to help keep this chamber cold, and it's going to be able to split it into fuel, which is going to be fed into this chamber to arc like a lamp. This was like it was like a gas discharge lamp also. It was a radioisotope thermoelectric generator with an open arc inside a larger radioisotope thermoelectric generator, okay, or just thermoelectric generator, okay, that was designed like a Tesla coil, a transmitter, and like a crystal radio, which is a receiver, and ironically we use an antenna for that, but that was the casing, okay. It received energy from the sun, radio signal, frequencies, all of that, and it helped. And then the radium for the arc, because there's a thermodynamic equilibrium that you have to use. Like I was explaining in the other video. Alright, so people dig everything up and start recoding this stuff, and then religions and ideas and all this come up. Okay, so Zoroastrianism comes out in this good branch of the philosophical, okay? Zoroastrianism, Buddhism, then let's see, Judaism, Islam, Catholic, Baptist, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, golly, it just gets ridiculous. And that's good, because it hides a lot of this even more. You know what I'm saying? It hides it all more. Okay, then you got all of these guys that believe all this stuff. Jainism, Hinduism. See, they don't believe necessarily there's it's God. It's like a person. They believe it's just forces of nature. It's just forces of nature. That's what it is. It's just forces of nature. It's just a way of saying a force of nature. Generation, operation, destruction. Okay? So, this is evil in these guys' eyes, because it's explaining it more in a scientific way, closer to what would be a scientific way that would lead us back into a cataclysm and destroying ourselves again. Which it's basically doing slowly, because everything is suppressing this. That's why all this has been suppressed for so long. Hell, we would probably figure this stuff out a long time ago and probably destroyed ourselves. But we're going to, and I'm basically helping contribute to it, opening people's eyes. And I know I'm correct on this. I know. I just know. Don't ask me how I know, but I know. So then these esoterics also, Aleister Crowley, the religious, the 666, ancient, the dark religion, all this dark magic, black magic, all of this shit, Then you got white magic. All of this stuff comes from it. All right, it's all from the fact that we had ancient technology on this planet before. That's what it stems down to. And they understood the nature of the universe, alpha, beta, omega, which exists in everything. Atoms, cells, the moon, the planet, everything. Everything's got its nuclear and its electric energy. Every atom has a nucleus and its electric field. Okay? There's some ionized, but you understand what I'm saying. You don't have to get real technical with it. You just have to understand the simplicity of it. We're understanding things too technically, and it's causing us to miss the big picture. That's why we can't understand evolution. We got stuff stacked in the wrong places, and then we're saying whales jump back into the ocean when whales were the oldest things in the world with sharks. Whales and sharks are the two oldest giant beings in the world. Everything derives from them in those two lineages. Your Icthyos lineage and your Mammosaurs lineage. The Icthyosaur was technically a Mammosaurian. Of course, that doesn't exist, but we're going to have to start reclassifying things. Okay? Who's to say that we don't have the answer, but we're just not seeing it? People think I'm crazy, but you cannot debunk any of this. I wish someone would, because I feel crazy, because I feel like I'm alone here. I really do. I feel like I understand things so technical, and I see things for what they are, to the point where it's driving me fucking crazy. Because nobody's listening, and I see bad things happening because of it. And I can't get it in anybody's fucking head. Like I was saying about ovoviviparity. They're ovoviviparous. That's basically a mammalian and a reptilian or a amphibious way of reproduction. The ichthyosaur was a mammal sapien too. It carries fish and mammal lineage because things are going to derive from this. Sharks will derive from the ichthyosaur. Sharks and mammals will derive from the ichthyosaur because sharks do not have a spine. They have a cartilage spine. Everything about them, the only thing that survives are their teeth. That's why we haven't found ancient sharks. All of the big giant ancients that we find, like the ichthyosaur, the Lapuridon, plesiosaur, mosasaur, all of these are whales. They're whale species. Okay? The shark species are gone. Eventually we'll find a tooth of something that makes Megalodon look like a damn tadpole. We will. I'm just saying it's going to take time, but it's out there. I'm telling you, it's out there. The way to understand if it's a whale or a fish is a whale, a mammal, flips up and down, tail to go forward. A fish or a shark, side to side. Anything that's technically a fish will go side to side. Anything that is a mammal, up and down. The giants of the earth, the giant amphibians of the earth, all of this stuff was formed from the earth. The earth literally birthed this stuff. We are from the earth, okay? Okay, when ribonucleotides form, you're going to get a fish ribonucleotide and you're going to get a mammalian ribonucleotide. These things are going to love each other, and that's going to create the double helix, all right? These are going to form in some kind of gel or a gelatin. Damn, I'm having a brain fart. Some kind of cellulose to contain them, a gel of some sort. Okay, the housing. Literally, the earth, in an amphibious way, births the largest animals, the largest ancient animals and amphibians. It's not like things evolved from the land and went into the water. Nothing did that. Everything either evolves in the water and comes to the land and transitions, and all of the stuff still exists. All the transitions are still there. You just got to know how to look at it. Your perspective has just got to be correct. That's all.